Okay, and we're live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Sports. Apologies for earlier on. It doesn't help when you've got the mute button on and you're talking. Obviously, the world can't hear what you're saying and you're talking to yourself. That's okay if you don't want a reply or you simply just like talking to yourself. But seeing this is meant to be a live broadcast, it helps if you take the mute button off. Anyway, thank you all for joining us at BWTM Sports. If you haven't already, don't forget to rate, subscribe, leave comments, and hey, like us as well. Oh dear. Oscar Delahoya. I'll tell you a little story about Oscar Delahoya actually. As a youngster, I very much admired Oscar Delahoya. He was the fighter that when I was younger, I didn't think anybody could beat Oscar Delahoya. I didn't think anybody, when he was unbeaten, I didn't think anybody could beat Oscar Delahoya. I had every single fight of Oscar Delahoya on VHS tape. And I, from VHS tape, then I got it from VHS tape to CDs. And I've got CDs and CDs and CDs packed of Oscar Delahoya fights. And I remember watching him fight against Ike Corte when he fought against Trinidad, a fight I thought he won, but people gave it to Trinidad. The fight against Mosley. In fact, all the top fighters, the real very top end fighters, he did get beat by. But I loved Oscar De La Hoya because I love a guy who throws fast combinations, will stand and trade at times. The fight that really made me fall in love with Oscar De La Hoya was the rivalry he had with Julio Cesar Chavez. It wasn't the first fight that did it for me. It was the second fight that did it for me. And the legendary commentary of Ian Darke. It was that fight that I fell in love with Ian Darke's commentary. And it was that night that I actually fell in love with Oscar De La Hoya and said, yeah, that guy. And it was, I believe it was the 8th round. I could be wrong. And De La Hoya, Ian Darke commentating and saying, De La Hoya, he's choosing to trade with Chavez, and that's not the way to fight Chavez. And Chavez was backing him up. And then he tagged De La Hoya, and De La Hoya got mad. And De La Hoya started throwing more punches at Chavez, and Chavez started walking him back. And Chavez started inching his way back into the fight. And Ian Darke was saying, this is a great fight, but De La Hoya's doing everything he shouldn't be doing everything wrong. And then Chavez has got him back up against ropes. Chavez lands another combination. And in about the last 10 seconds, De La Hoya throws a furious combination, ends it with an uppercut, left-right hand combination. And then, he pulls away and he gestures to the crowd. And then you look at Chavez in the corner. He's broken his, I think he broke his jaw or something, and blood spurting out his mouth. That was a stoppage of Julio Cesar Chavez. For me, that was the night that De La Hoya, I went De La Hoya crazy. Then he had the fight against Ike Corte, where he dropped Ike Corte with his famous left hook. And then Corte got up in the same round and dropped De La Hoya again. And then in the 12th round, they were trading again. And then De La Hoya uncorked another left hook in the 12th to drop Corte again. These are legendary classic nights. The combinations that he threw against Trinidad, I think it was in round 3 or 4, where he'd stand and look at Trinidad and flurry 3, 4, 5 punches and look at Trinidad. And Trinidad could hardly touch him. Beautiful. And then there was the incident where, later on in the fight, he started suddenly just backpedaling. And that just became a story of De La Hoya late in fights where he would fade. Then there was the Sugar Shane Mosley fight, hugely disappointing. Sugar Shane Mosley, 2 weight divisions below him, moves up and basically beats the brakes off of Oscar De La Hoya, wins the fight, Mosley. De La Hoya went and had the rematch against him, same thing. Mosley at that time beats De La Hoya again. Then the great fight, I was in Las Vegas at the time. I was such a De La Hoya fan that I was young and I went to Los Angeles and I actually thought I'd meet Oscar De La Hoya in East LA. Dumb me. And I was traveling through. I went through Compton, walking through Compton. No word of a lie. Went to Compton and I went to visit this church. It was the Frederick K.C. Price Church in Compton. And I'm walking down the street in Compton and I'm looking left and I'm looking right. and all I can see on the left-hand side, or the right-hand side of me, are all this long road, and all these shops that are like got bullets through them windows, and all boarded up, really beat down piece of town. You get to halfway up the road and there's a huge complex, which is of course Frederick Casey Price. For those of you who are into your church, your ministry and Christianity, that is the big pastor preacher Frederick Casey Price. Look, this place is like a complex. You could have a military base there. That's how big it was, that in Compton. Anyway, I digress. I come back. I'm on the bus coming back from East LA, going back to Central LA, downtown Los Angeles. And I'm on the bus, and I've got all these Mexican people looking at me really strangely. And like, I could sense something. I said, well, this ain't right. Why am I feeling this way? And I'm looking around. These people are looking at me, and I think it's all going to kick off. I said, all right, listen, I don't know what your beef is, but listen, I'm from London. I'm from the UK. So whatever your beef is, London. And then when I got back that evening, I discovered that the black and Mexicans at the time, there's a lot of tension in East LA at the time. This is going back many years. So there was a lot of tension, and they figured that maybe what the hell was I doing at that part of East LA, which was hugely Mexican. What was I doing at that point in time where I was at the time? It wasn't there because Compton was predominantly black area, but they want to know when I was on the bus, what the hell I was doing, and what my plans were. And you know, I felt pretty threatened, and until I opened my mouth, they thought I was some sort of enemy. Anyway, again, I digress. That time I was in Oakland. I'd travel from there to Oakland, see my aunt, home of the Oakland, California, the Oakland Raiders, for American football fans there listening in. And my aunt Marva, I said, we've got to get the Delahoya fight on pay-per-view. And it was Delahoya versus Vargas, and I went to the actual stadium. I think it was at the Staples Center, and we saw the Staples Center before the actual fight. I didn't get tickets at the time, but at the Staples Center, I saw the Staples Center. That's where my hero Oscar De La Hoya is going to be fighting. So that afternoon, I watched Oscar De La Hoya fight Fernando Vargas in a vicious fight, and of course the left hook came out and done Vargas. Then I saw the fight, obviously, with De La Hoya rolling around the floor with Hopkins. And then the ultimate embarrassment was when Pacquiao moved up. Oscar De La Hoya, who hadn't fought in welterweight for a while, moves down to welterweight. I don't know what kind of weight he come down at, 142 pounds to fight Pacquiao or something. And Pacquiao blitzed him. And, of course, after that, De La Hoya retired. I thought De La Hoya had a great career. But then the stories started coming out about De La Hoya, the drinking, De La Hoya, the cross-dressing, and all the other stuff about Oscar De La Hoya, which, you know, you can't, those stuff outside his personal life is his personal life. And you can't, you know, do that with you can't really cross that into the boxing. Then all the drinking and you know, the retirement and the depression, the drinking and stuff with messing around women and his wife, and all sorts of stuff was going on with De La Hoya. And it kind of felt sad for the champ. I really did. He comes back as a promoter, Golden Boy Promotions. And look, De La Hoya is a great fighter. I'll always say he's a great fighter. But as a promoter, leaves a lot to be desired. And I've seen him at times promoting, and either he's high as a kite or he's drunk. I've seen him, not the sort of thing, professionalism, not for me, not really great. But as a fighter, I've got great respect for De La Hoya, and I will always thank Oscar De La Hoya for the memories. A few years back, Oscar De La Hoya was asked a question about Gennady Golovkin, and he was talking about, yeah, I'd come back and I'd fight Golovkin. Okay. I know Floyd Mayweather was chasing a fight with Oscar. I forgot to talk about the Floyd Mayweather fight as well. That with Oscar, I know they're trying to get a rematch. That never happened. Oscar talked about fighting Golovkin. He'd come back and fight Golovkin. Yeah, okay, fine. Never happened. Oscar's had various situations in his personal life with drink and depression and all the rest of it. That's actually not my business. It just happens to be out in the media. That's how I know about it. So now there's this new radio station called, Golden Boy Radio, which launched, I believe, today. And of course, who's on the radio station? Oscar De La Hoya. And Oscar De La Hoya, now remember, this is the Oscar De La Hoya that told us that McGregor versus Mayweather is a circus. It's a freak show. And the real fight is Canelo versus Gennady Golovkin. Yep, fine. Okay. It shouldn't be happening in boxing, blah, 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 blah. So what do we get now? Oscar De La Hoya sitting down, telling the people on Golden Boy Radio, hey, I've been training secretly, and I'm in good shape, and, the only fight I'll come back for is Conor McGregor. I only need 2 rounds to beat Conor McGregor. Now, I don't know, Oscar, if Oscar's talking absolute clickbait, and it's just to get ratings high and for people to tune in to Golden Boy Promotions and the radio station, and to give the radio station huge ratings because he said that. That's fine. And I understand it because he's trying to find a way to boost the radio station. Great. But it's a bit contradictory, Oscar, if you say something like that, and then on the flip side, you just went and said that Mayweather versus McGregor was a circus show, but now you're saying that you could be part of that circus show. And worse the fact that if you're saying that, then that means your word is not your bond, and therefore, as any typical promoter, what you say doesn't really matter. So I'm not sure what to say about all this, Oscar, but I don't want to see you back in the ring. I certainly don't want to see you back in the ring, Oscar. So those are my thoughts on that. Very quickly, let me see the people in the room, what they're saying. Silly says, cutting crackers. I'm not even sure how much money that fight would make. Which would be its only significance. Is Conor lost these days? Fred Ginger says, anything Floyd can do, you can do better. I don't think so. Pussy De La Hoya. Happy days, Buzz, says Phil Half. Mr. Skeptical, why? Just why? Says Mr. Skeptical. What a resume Oscar compiled. Respect, absolutely. I'm not watching McGregor box, says Mr. Skeptical. Never write the golden boy off, says Shoaib. Paulie Malachi would stop McGregor. Ha 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 ha. Says Shoaib. Putton Cracker says, Mosley De La Hoya is one of my favorite fights of all time. Chavez De La Hoya is one of my favorites. Golden Boy must be going broke, says K Black Boxing. Mr. Skeptical says, someday De La Hoya beat Mayweather. Shows you how good he was. He admitted in the morning for the first time that I know of that he felt he lost to Felix Sturm. Man, he definitely lost to Felix Sturm. He lost every big fight. Got to agree with you there, K Black Boxing, and I'm a De La Hoya fan. And a Pernell Whitaker fight, I think he lost that as well. And I love Pernell Whitaker, and I love Oscar. JCC wasn't a big fight. What? Of course, Julio Cesar Chavez was a great big fight. Gail jumping in there. Good to see you, Gail. Oscar is a freaking genius. He mentions McGregor and everyone talking about him. He is successfully trolling the whole boxing universe. Love it. Yeah. I don't take him seriously. I just think that it's genius in one sense, but there is an element within me that actually believes that De La Hoya would do it, because there's that thing of, well, if Mayweather can do it, then I can do it as well. I sense that competitiveness and sort of slight bitterness between De La Hoya and Mayweather. Did you see Magic Johnson and Los Angeles Lakers play at the Forum? I didn't get the chance, but unfortunately, I would love to have done. But next time in America, I definitely will do that. Last comment, I've got to go. I like Oscar, but inside I don't think he's happy, and I feel bad for him. No matter how much money he has, money doesn't do it for people what they think it will. I agree with you there. Benjamin Berger, it would be great for boxing if Oscar De La Hoya beats McGregor. MMA faints would rate boxing much higher than fans. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, fair enough then. McGregor needs to fight Ferguson next. Get back to MMA. Okay, right. So there it is. I do agree with Gail there. Probably De La Hoya is trolling, and it's got the boxing universe talking, such as myself. But I don't want to see Oscar De La Hoya back in the ring. I love Oscar. I don't want to see him back in the ring. I certainly don't want to see him back in the ring against 0-1 Conor McGregor, because I don't want a legend in Oscar De La Hoya to get beat by Conor McGregor. No way, shape, or form. And I don't want to hear people saying, "Oh, he didn't land that left hand against Mayweather, but he may land that left hand in De La Hoya." And De La Hoya must be absolutely shot to pieces. I mean, if this guy has been drunk back and forth, I cannot see Oscar De La Hoya coming back in any decent shape. But mind you, having said that, I think even a drunk De La Hoya beats McGregor, to be honest with you. But I don't want to see. I don't even want to take the chance and see. I don't want to have to throw my DVDs out. I really don't. I've got a pile of DVDs that's got Oscar De La Hoya on it. I don't want to throw those DVDs in the bin knowing that he's fought Conor McGregor and Conor McGregor's beat him. I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want to see it. I don't want to smell it. I don't even want to put it in my mind. It pains me enough that I'm talking about this, but it has to be talked about. Oscar, don't take drugs. Oscar, stay away from the drink. And Oscar, finally, stay away from the boxing ring. Remain a promoter. Do not get back in the boxing ring again. Not to fight competitively against McGregor. I don't want to see it. It may happen for money. Pay-per-view US, pay-per-view UK. Come on, no, I don't want to see it. No. And no, I don't want to see Mayweather versus McGregor 2. No, I don't want to see it. He didn't land the left hand the first time round, and when he did, nothing happened. So why do I want to see a rematch? No. Oh, no, 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 no. Ingram, are you going to do a Joshua Wilder preview discussion video? Yes, I am. But what I'm going to do, listen, let's blow this shit wide open. I'm calling out all the YouTubers, the gods of YouTube. I'm calling you all out. Let's have our Royal Rumble. Joshua versus Wilder. Royal Rumble on YouTube. BWTM Sports presents Royal Rumble. And we'll bring in all the as many big names. You name them. 78 Sports TV. Mr. Boxing Today. That's 2 already. Blood Boxing. Truth and Facts about boxing. If Boxing Gossip wants to jump on, get him on as well. Let's get them all in. And let's have UK versus USA. Joshua versus Wilder. And make it a mega event on BWTM Sports. Now, finally, before I go, some big news for BWTM Sports. First of all, tomorrow night, live and exclusive, the big punching, legendary Julian the Hawk Jackson returns to BWTM Sports. I am so excited to have him. I was talking to him today from the Virgin Islands. The connection's not great because, they had a lot of, they had the hurricane and the disaster over there. They're getting things back together now. So hopefully we get a good connection and we'll be able to talk to the man himself, Julian the Hawk Jackson. And on Thursday, we'll be talking to Evander Holyfield's people, his fighters, and we may even get a chance to talk to the real deal, Evander Holyfield. We may be talking to him on Thursday. Fingers crossed. I'll get the confirmation tomorrow. Let's get it on. Let's get it on. I just want to finish this year, 2017, with a huge bang. Let's do it. Last year, 2016, I did the end of Bayloric TV, which I was really glad about that. We ended Bayloric TV boxing channel. We closed it down, and we had a fantastic evening. I think we had about 8-10 people in the room. It was great. So I want to do a Royal Rumble, get them all in. Gail, you'll be welcome as well. Get a complete Royal Rumble, and let's just tear shit up, as they say, just for that night. Wilder versus Joshua preview show, and let's make it happen. And we may even do it at a point where we may even have a call in as well, where we can have people call in as well for that evening. Why not do it? Peter Fury, I'm not sure Peter's too keen on the old YouTube questions and answers sessions. So we will get Peter at some point back. But like I said, there are other guests, and at some point we'll get Peter on. But at the moment, we've got some major guests this week, and let's focus on that for now. All right. So fingers crossed we get the Real Deal Holyfield Thursday, and we get Julian Jackson tomorrow night, and we get a senior. Byfield comes back as well. We've got him on Thursday as well. So we've got, wow, we're going to have a packed week of boxing. Gail says, yes, I'm a traitor. Americans for Joshua. Right. In that case, then, that's going to be fantastic. We'll have some Americans turning on one another. That'd be nice as well. So we can tear the whole things up, and let's just see how good that relationship is between the UK and the US. I'm married to an American, and I can tell you at times the UK and US relations are not the greatest. So I'm sure there'll be a few words exchanged on the YouTube channel. Of course, it'll be all respectful, but yeah, it'll be interesting. So maybe, who knows? I could bring a few trainers in the room as well to make it happen. The Joshua versus Wilder debate, we could do that as well. But let's get that Royal Rumble on. Okay. I think that's it from now. I need to get myself off because I've got to do another show from the Caribbean talking about Taekwondo. Yeah, it's a sports channel. So my good friend from the Caribbean has just tried to ring me and wants to talk about getting some funding for some work with the young people in the Caribbean. So got to get back on to call him. Right. Thank you all so much. I digress. This has been BWTM Sports. Once again, thank you so much, Gail, for joining us. Core 2971, K Black Boxing, Graham M, Phil Harv, Benjamin, Putton Cracker, Mr. Skeptical, Shoaib, and Fred Ginger. What a name. Right, I'm out of here. Take care and have a good evening. I will be back a little later on with another live show. Do you think Oscar Delahoya should come back? I certainly don't. Take care.